It's late night rando time on Speed Gaming Prime. It's Thursday night, April 16th, 2020. We are in the middle of the 5th week of Swiss for the 2020 Final Fantasy Randomizer Spring Tournament. And whoa, Nelly, it's been a heck of a ride so far. Tonight, we have Mr. Async, asher1611, versus the bandit himself, BurtReynoldz. Burt came on the scene a little after OnRack summer vacation. He started destroying the competition, taking out well-known names from almost the first day that he showed up. Asher is our current ace lead. He's an arbiter and one of the organizers of the spring tournament. They are 10th and 11th in SRL ranking, so this should be a really great matchup. They've run multiple larger races with people there, but they've never actually run solo 1v1 against each other. One of them will clinch a spot in the last chance qualifier tonight. The other one's gonna have to wait one more week and hope to make that dreaded meat grinder of the last chance qualifier. Both of these races are 2-2. We've got Asher, we've got Burt, but tonight we've got a packed house in our tracking room. We've got Danny, 3883, working with Guelph and Professor Renderer. We have Kirito on the restream, and joining me here in the booth is Ilmars Ubermuller. Ilmars, how you feeling tonight, my friend?
I am doing fantastic, Gouda. Looking forward to this one big time. Had a little bit of a draft go on prior to this. Got ourselves some fighter, black, white. So gonna be a lot of magic and a lot of reliance on hopefully seeing something good come out in these early levels.
Yeah, I like these parties. Fighter, 2 black mages, white mage, got all your coverage, you're gonna have life access guaranteed. But those black mages can get really squishy throughout this entire campaign. So it's gonna be interesting to see how high they want to level them, because they will very, very quickly die to a nuke when it gets into Topher.
Yeah, it's really going to be dependent on both magic availability and also, what our fighter might be able to help carry to see how much the black mages may stick around. I mean, there's always a potential for a 2-man strat. If we see the first 3-4 levels of black magic are not so great, you might see a fighter white mage, or more than likely, at very least, one of those black mages is probably going to be kissing dirt for a while.
Yeah, and the runners are on their way. I have dropped the gates, so we should be on our way here very quickly as soon as this restream gets caught up to us. I'm really looking forward to this match. I cannot believe that both of these racers are 2-2. They definitely deserve to be much, much higher than 2-2, and they're both fighting for that last chance qualifier.
That is a place nobody wants to be, coming in at, finishing out at 3-3, where you have to go through what'll be, 15, 16 people all going in one big race to get the one spot. But here we go.
Yeah, there's one spot available in that last chance qualifier. It feels a whole heck of a lot better being 4-2. And yeah, there we go.
White magic, we've got exit, which will be really great. We saw cure, and then on the black side, ice, stop, lock 2. Nothing spectacular and no good sweepers off the hop.
Yeah, that's going to be really interesting to see if these runners tend to go to Provoca to see if they can get some level 2 magic and get a sweeper, or if they're going to just go up to Garland and try and take him out, old beatneck style.
Rapiers as well, so at least the fighter can swing the plastic sword, do a little something with his fists. Quick encounter right off the hop, too. Got about 5 steps before that first encounter comes off, so let's see if there's any runs coming after that.
Yeah, and we are sitting at a 1.0 and 0.8 encounter rate, and BurtReynoldz going, looking like he was going to go straight over. Yeah, he's going to go straight over to Provoca.
Yeah, imps have stone poison, so that'll be fun.
Yeah, gotta love that stone poison. Oh, Aelmarkin, this is another Gouda production. The last time I rolled a seed, we had no sweepers until level 5 for damage, so let's just hope. Let's hope we can get something great like that again for these runners and see how some of these more veteran runners are able to handle that kind of shenanigans. This shark just does not want to go down.
No, there's a lot. I was just gonna say there is a lot of HP on these sharks. They're evidently they don't really care about that ice spell all that much.
No, they don't. And Burt still getting more encounters here on the sea, and White Mage is down. I don't know if that was planned. I don't think so, with being in that 4th slot.
No, I don't think a back row smacking was exactly on his plan to be danning somebody.
But Asher finds a opal helmet, so maybe that's some early game money that he can use, because I don't know if he's going to hold on to that.
Yeah, and level 2 we've got Lit 2, so at least we've got a sweeper in black at this point in time.
Oh, that is definitely helpful. And Lit 2 is going to do a whole lot of work throughout this whole seed.
Yeah, especially for this early going, we're going to be going through, across the waters. So always help pretty much everything on the water. And, oh, look at that! Our half-loose canal found already right in the top left of Toph.
And with these fire weeks, we have tended to see really, really early, either early canals or early canoes. But a lot of intercontinent diving, and there have been a lot of useless canals as well.
Yeah, we've seen a lot where you get that canoe pretty quick, and that leads to that leads to your floater, so you're pretty much just bypassing it anyway.
And Asher gets through Garland with basically no problem, and then Burt is taken out the pirates with basically no problem now that he's got that Lit 2.
Got lucky that the pirates decided to kill the one without Lit 2.
We got a tail and an oxyale to get us started, so that doesn't help us get into the volcano or into Ice Cave. But we have a canal and we have oxyale. That means that we have Sea Shrine on the table super early.
There's no chance at this point you're thinking that already, but definitely something in the near future that could be a play. Or are you thinking it this early?
I love Sea Shrine, but not when it's not Sea Week. Sea Week makes it a lot easier to justify going into Sea Shrine at low levels, but they've got Lit 2. That's not enough to get you in and out of Sea Shrine.
No, and I mean, Temper also available at level 2, something that'll be great come late game, but at this point in time, not exactly something that's going to help out.
Yeah, and we've got Bicky with the Adamant, so Burt's probably going to head over, try and get his Garland kill, and then pick up those items and go straight over to those dwarves.
Makes sense, gonna need some cash to help fund some of this, and really, once that's done, getting down to Elfland and seeing our 3 and 4 magic will really be the big decider on what the party comp's gonna be the rest of the way, because at this point Burt still hasn't brought back that White Mage, nor the other black. So I wonder what he's thinking at this point.
He's thinking that he's going to go full-on Artea strats and do Fighter Black Mage, and he's just going to 2-man this the whole way and get up into the 30s with those 2 characters. I mean, it works for some people. I've seen it work multiple times. I personally don't like it when it's this early, and there's a lot of exploring to do. Those extra black mages help you with your running, help you get away from things, and they provide, as One Fine Day has said in chat, that's 2 temper casters, that's 2 sweepers. I mean, if you had a level 1 or 2 nuke, or a level 1 or 2 lit 3, fire 3, ice 3, I mean, that's one thing, but you're rocking lit 2.
Yeah, you're going to need all the AoE damage that you can get right now, especially with your fighter only swinging the plastic rapier, so it's not like he's going to be pumping out any melee damage for anything.
Burt's gonna pull his Garland. It was still with his 2-man. And Lit 2, wow, 116 on Lit 2 takes down Garland.
Good roll. One Fine Day, was there anything in Matoya? No, just cash.
Oh, and spiders have quad X. That is something that is super interesting and could come back to really, really hit these runners hard once it comes to the Earth Cave.
Yeah, and the one upside of running 2-man is, if he does decide to go that way, is you are going to build HP pretty quick, and that fighter, once he gets to around 14 or so, is going to be at that 300 mark, that hopefully quad X shouldn't be an issue for him. But that Black Mage will probably be open to it for quite a while before it hits above that 300 head threshold.
Yeah, so we're going to be looking for pro rings and ribbons and ways to try and counteract that quad X. And I don't think Asher saw that quad X up in Temple of Fiends, so that's a little bit of knowledge that Burt has.
There was a pro ring also, thankfully, that was in the top left next to the canal, so they do have one pro ring, which is helpful already.
Yeah, with that level 1 exit, I don't like Burt early game, having that white mage down. Level 1 exit does a lot of work.
Yeah, I think, especially when you're going to be getting in and out of things quickly, if you're going to want to be, say you're making an early Earth play, that cheeky first 5 chests, having exit to be able to just jump out when you need it. Then when you're getting later and you're looking at, waterfall, or even ice cave, having that ability to get out real fast is always helpful. No one wants to make full runs of ice, do the double dip. No one wants to have to walk back out of waterfall. So, you're banking right now that you're going to find warp at a level that's accessible, and that'll be good for the Black Mage, because we haven't seen it yet.
Yeah, and exit just makes every single dungeon, every single check that much faster, and the argument would be made that you are getting more levels with 2-man, so you can make it in and out of places quicker anyways, but there's nothing like actually just diving into a place and then instantly saying, alright, I got everything I need, and exiting out. Because even a few steps here or there in every dungeon is seconds.
It could be something as simple as, you're doing cardio later and you're just, you check out the chest, it's like, well, there's something really good here that I want to keep. Just hitting that as opposed to walking back out saves you those few seconds. It's never a bad idea.
For sure. And so now we're going to get that adamant check, and we got some arachnids that are unrunnable, so that's unfortunate. That's all over the overworld when they're walking around here, and they're going to be doing a lot of walking until they can get that airship.
Asher seems like Asher's exploiting on this, after the first encounter, a second pro ring found as well, so there the quad X is getting less and less important. But after that first quick encounter, there seems to be a pretty decent run, and adamant equals canoe.
And that's been basically telltale with these fighter flags, and a lot of races that you watch, that's what happens. They get that early canoe, and now they've got so much on the table. You've got 3 key items between ice and 2 key items between ice and volcano, and you've got 2 key items down in ordeals and waterfall. So it's really a horse apiece, but 3 if you include the sages. But I think they'll check the sages before they do anything else.
Oh yeah, it looks like Asher's going to make his way around and go hit that southern dock of Elfland, probably check out the magic there, and then make his way over to Crescent, and then I would also suspect going to Volcano or Ice, whichever one suits his fancy at that point.
Yeah, and it's going to be, like I said, it's going to be interesting to see which way they decide to go. Mostly because, Volcano's got a lot of chests, a lot of free chests. Asher still has his white mage up, so he can exit out whenever he needs to. But it always feels bad getting down to carry floor and not trying to kill the fiend herself.
The one solace is that if there is a dungeon that you want to run through, there's a decent sweeper, lit 3 at level 3. I mean, that's Quad X, also always good, something the spiders have that we want.
And with all of this lightning magic, that tells me CCC.
Yeah, Cure 3, about the only thing. Fog 2 has its time as well. In white, and then level 4 Warp and Nuke, so looks like that 2-man may pay off early for Burt, because he's going to get some pretty quick levels to be able to utilize both those warps and those nukes, and get a bunch of charges for him as well.
Yeah, and that's, now that you know Nuke is on the table, that's one of those spells that you want to be able to kind of spam at will, so we might see Asher drop the white mage for a little bit to try and get some levels on those black mages so they can get their nuke and warp charges.
Yeah, and this probably makes Burt feel a lot better knowing, you know what, it's okay, that white mage can stay dead, I'll have access to warp, it's not a big deal, I'll still be able to get in and out of places fairly quickly.
And what I don't like about what Burt's doing is, you can see the two different strategies here. Asher is taking the C, and he's going down and around, but Burt is going through the river system. So if the floater is not here between these three checks, Burt has to go all the way back, a long ways away, to get to his boat.
The one saving grace may be if something like Crystal comes up.
Mm-hmm, that's true.
That's the, Crystal's probably the only one. I mean, TNT a little bit, Herb, it doesn't matter, you can go to the South Dock anyway, but Crystal would be about the only one where Burt may save some time, but everything else you're probably going to want to be on the outer part of the sea already.
Yeah, and even with the Matoya check, there is a river tile that's near... Oh, and there we go, we got an herb from the Sages. But there is a river tile up by Matoya, so with that river tile, you can go basically south from the Mirage Tower and get into Matoya really quickly.
Looks like Asher's going to try out these EXPs. Well, Burt's having a little bit of trouble making his way through this river. These Hydras are hitting hard, and they're not being very friendly to Burt. And I believe these EXPs were right off the power cycle as well.
Yeah, you might see Asher abuse this for a while, try and get up to level 10, somewhere in that neighborhood, and they're not going down too bad either.
No, it was definitely off the power cycle, because yeah, he got it off that 2-step. Oh, he is too. He's going to grind a bit here. That's a good find. And
he's going to look for the 3, I guess I'll take 2, but 3-4 packs, because when you have sweepers like Lit 3, and you only need to hit a couple of them, pack even only 1, and you can get it, great.
Yeah, they're at about 170 HP, I think that was total on that bottom one that took it out, so a decent Lit 3 roll will be able to take them out.
And there's 4, that's what he's looking for.
Wonder if Burt's going to see the same thing, as I have a feeling if he does, he'd be very happy and to gain some levels here from it.
Yeah, and Burt's going to gain those levels basically twice as fast as Asher is, but Asher's already level 9, and with 4 party members, and Burt's level 7 on 2. So, but Burt's going to catch up and pass Asher here in a very, very fast fashion if he keeps taking these peds.
Oh yeah, a 120 took them down. Ooh boy, they are weak.
And Asher utilizing that Fog 2 spell, trying to make sure that they don't get his Light Warriors don't get punched too bad.
That makes the White Mage feel like he's contributing.
And Asher grabbing those cabins because he knows that he's probably going to be doing a lot of walking, and even when you don't have to do a lot of walking, you still end up doing a lot of saving. And it feels really bad if you end up outside of a dungeon, you don't have a house, you don't have a cabin.
Oh yeah, and you're gonna gain, if you're gaining some levels from this, you're also gaining a good chunk of cash as well. So, hopefully we shouldn't be looking at any sort of poverty issues going forward once you do a decent grind on these.
And Burt is already level 10 on both of his Light Warriors that are standing. So Burt gaining basically two levels every EXP fight which is a huge amount. We might actually see Burt take this up pretty high.
It wouldn't surprise me if he goes all like to 18 to 20 even in that with how quick it's gonna go. And we've got a slab from our herb.
But Burt, is he still swinging that rapeer? I think he is.
Yes, he is. He's got the plastic sword out in full force.
And Asher is... So these two runners are basically going to be going completely opposite, because the way, as Crab Cakes points out in chat, the way that Burt is set up, he is definitely going Volcano and then probably going Ice if he doesn't get the floater. So Asher going to the other continent and hitting up Ordeals, which is theoretically a safer dungeon and faster dungeon than the other ones.
Yeah, because Asher's around, what, 10? And level 4, I think, kicks in at, 11 or 12?
He's already got nuke charges on the black mages.
Oh yeah, he does already anyway. So yeah, then that means he's got warp charges as well. So if things start going a little haywire for him, he can maneuver around pretty quickly. And he's got 2 charges on each already, so he'll be all right.
Yeah, and these Argoyles, they tend to roll a lot of hits, and they tend to just not be very fun enemies. And Asher with some fun percent flags going on here, and a little bit of a palette swap. These regular Medusas looking like some Gur Medusas.
Masquerading, trying to confuse us all, make them think they're more scary than they are.
Yeah, especially without any fire spells at this point.
Nuke cares not about anything, though.
You don't want to be blowing your nuke charges this early. There's 2 different spike tiles in Ordeals that in this flag set are all shuffled. So when you shuffle those spike tiles, you can end up with the unrunnable Iron Golem, 1 or 2 of them. And when you get that, it's not a fun time if you don't have any nuke charges. He does have lit, so he can still probably take them down, but it's just a whole lot easier when you're doing it with nuke.
If also Asher does have that exit with that white mage still up, so if he doesn't want to take that second spike tile, he can just jump out right away.
Very true, very true. If he's got nuke charges, I have a feeling he'll take it.
Yeah, if he gets there and he's still got a couple charges left, he'll think about throwing. He'll think about going for it for sure.
Well, now he's only got 1 charge left, so mummies have Stinger. So mummies pulling out, I don't know where they got that Stinger from, but they pulled it out, and now they got 3 poisoned light warriors. But we have enough pure potions. That is one of the veteran moves that some of the newer runners can tend to forget, is right when you get to Corneria, you grab that 10 stack of pures, a couple of softs, and we got a Bane sword found, and we got a bottle. So that's kind of telling me that floater is eventually going to be required, because we already have slab, we already have bottle.
Unless those are just sitting there being our dud items, more than likely we're gonna see something. But until we've seen any of those, can't make the call quite yet. But I think the floater's always wanted anyway.
What's great about what Asher's doing, and what is super risky, is over here we have Waterfall and we have the Sea Shrine. We're also looking for vendor items still, so he's going to come up here and check Caravan. But with the Lit-3s, with the nukes, and at level 11-ish on this party, he can probably go in, get some levels in C, and full clear most of it. Exit also helps a ton. Oh no, there's the key. And we're not talking about a cheap key here. We are looking at 63k for that key.
If you wanna steal from the dwarves and Corneria and the elf and Elfland, it's gonna cost ya.
That is one of the most expensive keys I've seen in a really long time. I've seen some max price stuff going on here, but not the key. So, yeah, we're going to be looking for those chests here and Waterfall, and luckily the enemies in the Sea Shrine also drop a boatload of cash when you blow them up with lit.
I could see a mermaid side play going on to check the bunch of chests there and getting a few encounters on the way, especially for Asher, and then just exiting out right away if he wanted.
And Burt does the exact same play as Asher, comes down here, and he did not do Ordeals yet, but he came down and looked at Waterfall when he's got the Oxyale, and he said, "This is where I'm going today, everybody. I'm gonna come down here, walk through this waterfall, and take my 2 men and steal from a robot."
Both making this play right now. I mean, the unfortunate thing about Burt is having the 2-man, even at these early levels, there are a few things that can hit fairly hard, and that Black Mage is still fairly squishy, so survivability could be a little bit of an issue, but having those few extra nuke charges will help. Mind you, Gouda has, or yeah, you're Gouda. Mind you, Asher has both Black Mages up, so he actually, I believe, has a couple more at this point.
Yeah, he's got 4 nukes, 5 nukes, or 6 nukes, I think, between the 2 Black Mages, and that Muggle had just enough for a regular ice to take it down. But we're gonna see who struggles more through this through these encounters, and so far it actually looks like Asher's been having more trouble than Burt trying to get through this. They're on the same encounter table. They're both burning off 1 encounter before they go in. But yeah, Burt is taking this Gasty.
Yeah. I don't blame them. They're a good source of XP.
They are one of the best sources of XP in this entire game, and they are the encounter 8 here in the waterfall. And our robot friend gives us the crown, and all the shields are hanging out with the robot today. We got Aegis, we got Ice, and we can only use 1 of them.
Unfortunate thing on Burt's side, those red Ankylos decimated his Black Mage, so now we're gonna have to solo run out.
Oh no. So we're gonna see Asher, what you doing, buddy? He's coming up here, and he saw something he liked at the caravan.
More cabins, maybe?
Heal pots. And that is a veteran move. Since there are 2 different item shops that are around here, if you don't find heal pots at OnRack, you can always come up to the Oasis and see what they have. They're not guaranteed to have heal pots, but if they do, it's great, because then you don't have to try and get to either Crescent Lake or Elfland or somewhere else to try and get heal pots. Burt getting stopped by these bats. Oh, he's getting just Jacobered by these bats in Waterfall, and that's rough. He doesn't want to take those extra steps to try and walk around him because he's running with a solo. Oh no, bro.
Just burning off the encounter.
So if you go north from the waterfall, you can get locked up there. Like, if you save up there, you're done, because you can't actually get out. I don't think you can get back into the waterfall from the top side.
I'm not sure. I don't know. I'm sure I tried it at some point, but I can't remember. I'm sure chat will point it out for us momentarily.
I agree with you, Space Drake. I kind of would have liked to see him do a sea shrine dive right there, and I think we're gonna get it from Burt.
Fast at level 7. That'll be fine for Burt if he's 2-manning. He's gonna get those levels quick. That crown turned into some TNT, so Asher's gonna run his way up and see what that gives him. Oh, and we've got a raid! RPG Limit Break comes in with a party of 134. Welcome to this Week 5 race where we see a floater from TNT.
Oh,
Chaos Casino.
Boy. And that that is a play that I'm not sure a lot of people would have done. Go check that with leaving Sea Shrine on the table, but that pays out big for Asher, because now Asher is going to be in the air while Burt is probably going to full clear at least the left side of Sea Shrine. But maybe not. He's going to check everything on this floor, but where is he going to go after that is the real question.
If he's looking for cash and looking for something quick, I could see jumping onto the right side for mermaids and checking those chests to see if he can get the money for the key.
I mean, he is still looking for a sword, so I'm not sure he really has a way to take down Kraken. And at the 27-minute mark, Asher is in the air. A little bit before 27 minutes, but 27 is pretty close.
And yeah, it looks like Burt's going right side here, seeing if he can get that cash or get something to finance the golden key.
And Sarda gives us our crystal, so that's going to be a nice, quick, easy check to hop over to Matoya. And there are a ton of chests in Sea Shrine. They're just not densely packed like some of the other, like if you go to the Volcano Armory or if you go to Sky and Mirage. Crabcake's calling for loose loot in mermaids. That would be awful. It'd be great for Burt, but it would be. I don't think Asher's going there for a while.
Nah, and that's one of those checks a lot of people end up not going to unless it's getting late in the game and they still haven't found one of their loose.
Mm-hmm. I know. Oh, a ribbon already paying out. That's one of two that he needs, and he also found an ice armor. So now, wow, BurtReynoldz is getting stacked up here. But now we'll see if he can find a sword to pull out of here as well, because nobody has swords yet.
No, I don't think the plastic rapier is gonna be an end game weapon.
A white shirt as well. Wow, mermaids is stacked. These mermaids have just been holding on to this loot for Lord knows how long. And yeah, what else we got in here?
Got promotion on Asher's sides already too.
Thor hammer, that's one loose.
That might not be something that is necessarily, progression in that, but it does give Burt a lot of knowledge, knowing that if he finds that second loose anywhere, that he can just worry about incentives and go.
Yes. Oh, max price chest. He found his key money.
There's the key.
Well. Look at that.
Ice armor, a bunch of cash, and a ribbon. White shirt. Yeah, I'd say, and knowledge of a loose item. I'd say that paid off fairly well for him.
Yeah, that was huge to go over to Mermaid side for Burt. As Spellzap points out, when you're going 2-man, you also want to have some sort of sweeper item on that knight, or in this case, the fighter, because if you can have a Lit 3 and a Lit 2 going at the same time, it's going to take down packs a lot faster than just having that fighter swing.
Yeah, and that Thor hammer will definitely be good for that.
And it's always nice to have a caster item as a weapon instead of an armor, because those armor caster items just get in the way of what you actually want to be equipping.
Yeah, there's only so many, you've only got 4 slots for things, and typically, especially when you're running a 2-man, you want that knight to be as fully decked out as possible, so sacrificing any absorb for a caster item is not nearly as good as having either the mage stick or the Thor hammer to be able to throw things out for it.
And Asher doing the really quick here check at Lefane. I believe he also has the bottle. So, there's your Opal Cheerio. That, he doesn't even want it.
Nope.
Nope. Don't want to walk back. So there's your Zonk item, one of them. And we have the other one in the Thor hammer, loosed in mermaids. We got Invis 2 and Heal 3 at level 7. That feels bad, but he will have access to both of them if he wants it. and super, super, super expensive gold bracelets. We're looking at 62k plus for one gold bracelet. Whew. When you're looking at 63 for the key, 62 for a gold bracelet, you better find something fun to grind on because you're gonna need a lot of cash for this seed.
Absolutely.
And there's another zonk item, the Power Bonk. Nice to have, but my goodness.
That means that other loose item is going to have to be something we need for progression at this point. Because we already got our tail, that's not going to do anything, and we found our 3 zonk items, so wherever that other loose is, it's going to be super important.
And as Spellzap points out, all dungeons will be required in the seed. Getting Ruse right away on that knight, which is huge. Ruse is the exact same spell that the defense sword casts. The only problem is you only have 4 casts of it. So you want to have 3 casts to get max evade. And he does not have that white shirt, and as we just saw, Invis 2 is level 7. So, oh, there's a loot. That is something really, really good to see, because the loot and the rod are the 2 items that really can almost appear anywhere in the entire game. And knowing you have to search for loose loot just tends to get into a runner's head, because, okay, which chest did I orphan, either on purpose or by accident?
Yeah, it's always great when you're looking for something in any potential chest. At least the other ones can't obviously be locked behind themselves, so it kind of gives you some idea of where you can and can't go. And Crabcake's asking if they had found a loose. Yes, we found a loose Thor hammer chilling in Mermaid's side, so there's only one left out there.
And if I had to guess, Asher is never going to find that loose Thor hammer. 13k. Oh, Masa hanging out in the Volcano Armory, and that is the sword that we've been looking for.
There's something that'll get that fighter swinging hard.
And the only problem for Asher is finding it here means that Burt is very, very likely going to find it soon as well. But he decides to put that Masa on the White Mage, make that White Mage useful. That is some super, super interesting some strategy right there. I mean, the Ice Sword is alright, but it's no Masamune.
I guess at this point he's kind of hoping that the damage output from combined of everything would be better than kind of stacking it, but I guarantee that once that knight starts hitting in the high 19s, low 20s, that mouse is going to make its way back up into the big boy's hands.
Oh yeah, for sure. Space Drake pointing out that Asher's been reading his Nintendo Power. As soon as you find that Masamune on Tia 2's floor, you'll throw that baby right on that White Mage, and you say, hey Chaos, this is what we do. Our level 23 White Mage is going to hit you 2 times for 18 damage. Here we go.
Never know what hit him.
What? Oh, bringing the Black Mage back up.
It must be. Yeah, I was gonna say, Asher just gets everything he wants and then out of there and jumps out for a minute.
But he's picking up 3 houses. The houses are really expensive in this seed. They are sitting at 3,500. And we got a freeze over here on Bert's side, so hopefully we can get him back. It's been about a minute, and it's legitimately been frozen.
Yeah, hopefully there's nothing horrible going on his end. It's just some latency issues.
Yeah, and just based on the way the stream has been so far, it looked like there had been some internet issues. But I don't know, I don't see anything in the race room, so hopefully we can get Bert back. There we go.
Oh,
he's back.
He's alive.
Alright. I know previously Bert had some computer issues and whatnot, but we got Bert. We're good. We can keep this race going.
Looks like he's making his way over to Northwest. turn in that crown. He's also got that key, so he can start checking some key locks if he wants as well.
And he might even go in and check this the grind tile here just to kind of see what's there and see what if he can get any more big levels here. If there's a really good grind tile, 3 eyes or whatnot, that could help him out. And there's a really easy checks after you check the chests here.
Yeah, not a bad idea. There's 2 different grind tiles, 2 different sets of things. One of them could be really good.
And just some iron. He's not even going to check those grind tiles. He says, you know what? I'm doing 2-man. I can make it through here, no problem.
Already up to level 20 as well, though. So when he does decide to do his grind, I guess thinking, we get that 5% experience boost for every key item. Do some more turn-ins before starting the big grind, I guess, because he's definitely running 2-man. Going to be, I would think, in the low to mid 30s before he makes commitment to Topher.
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, this is Artea to a T right here, and I know watching Burt practice for this, he was doing black belt red mage strats for a while to work on his 2-man. It was black belt red mage none, which was really amazing, honestly, to watch him go through and do that.
Well, the correct answer to everything in Final Fantasy is black belt.
Oh, and
pro cape and ribbon.
That is all the armor that he's going to need.
Yeah, 2 ribbons, 1 for each of his characters. Pro cape to help boost that. He just needs to find himself a gold bracelet or a black shirt, and he's going to be pretty much good to go.
And defense sword hanging out. Wow, this is the 2-man's dream of finds here for BurtReynoldz. He's got defense. He's probably gonna get power bonk because he's gonna check his incentive locations. So he's gonna have defense. He's gonna have bonk. He's gonna have Masa because it's basically free in armory. Unless he go modes, there's the possibility that he could be in go mode before he gets to armory at this point, depending on where he goes next.
And he's going to be able to class change right now, too, once he gets that floater going.
And Asher's going to give us a look at what's in the incentive chest here in the volcano. But not before Bulls decide to try and cremate him. Just burning him alive here in the volcano. It's a little thematically awesome.
Every now and again, the game makes some sense with the randomizer. Always feels weird when you're in Volcano and blizzards being cast repeatedly by fire elementals.
Yeah, I mean, they just decided to take some magic in the wrong category because they wanted to really screw with people. And we got a chime, so wherever that next loose item is, I mean, we do not have cube yet, so this is where Galaxy Brain says, loose cube in Mirage.
Or loose rod in the first 3 Earth.
Yeah, there we go. The best places to have those. And yes. He is gonna put the Masa back with the big boys, where it belongs.
It's cute for when you're doing overworld encounters, but when it's time to actually fight some fiends, do it right.
And White Mage is going to start off with Fog 2, and Carry can roll 6+ hits in this. So, we'll see what happens. New coming out for 113, Fog, armor up, here we go. Basically another bracelet, and Carry did roll 5 hits, so... But the Knight comes back with 4 hits, and goodbye, Miss Carry. Go back 2,000 years, we'll catch you later. Oh, sorry, that was some spoilers.
You mean we go back in time in this game?
Right? In 1987, 1990, we knew all about time travel. It was absolutely amazing.
Next, you're gonna tell me that old man in the castle that was Astos really wasn't just a kindly old king. I mean,
I would never say such a thing. But it's true.
We had a black shirt he literally needs dragon armor to be fully decked out with his 2 characters.
Yes, this has been a 2-man dream for BurtReynoldz, and everything has fallen Burt's way gear-wise and with the checks that he's made.
Oh boy, sorcerers have their vanilla touch.
Oh, that is very spicy. Luckily, sorcerers don't pop up too often in Ice Cave. At least you can hope they don't. It really depends on how the randomizer rolls. So we do have shuffle up basically everything in the encounter table. So you can get 3, 4, 5 encounter 8s in a row. That's just the way that's the way the encounter table rolls.
However, we do see packs in Sky and in Topher. So that can get real interesting towards the end. Particularly for Burt running a 2-man, because touch attacks don't care about your ribbons.
They do not. They are non-elemental death touch.
It's all just straight M-def to see if you're gonna roll above that. On the plus side, sorcerers tend to only roll 1 or 2 hits. So it's not like you're getting hit by, 12 hit Medusas or something that have them.
Correct. But even so, they roll for each attack. So if you get hit twice, you have to save twice. And the touch attacks are on a different encounter or a different roll. Oh, there's a Vorpal, and we get a Ruby. So the touch attacks, instead of rolling on the 256 scale, they roll on the out of 200 scale. So it's a totally different table. And big guys have damage poison. Oh, what?
XP Pinata fight says not today, friends.
Yeah, and Asher's black mages are both gonna go down. He did not get those ribbons, and and Squint takes him out too. This is where Asher's likely just gonna get that incentive and pop out of there, or possibly just see if he can steamroll, run away from it. Not steamroll, because there's no steamroll in that fight.
No, they also had some HP. They sucked up a couple of nukes or lit 3s and didn't go down. Yeah, Burt just got a whole lot of luck there, because he got into like 2 or 3 in sorcerer encounters and got hit multiple times and didn't see death touch come out.
And Burt is already level 21 on both his characters, so that's really, really fantastic for being 45 minutes in. If you had a 4-man party, those are getting close to Topher levels, but in this 2-man party, he's going to want quite a few more. But we got Asher picking up level 15, so Asher's right there. Burt's going to find these big eyes and Gersharks, but he's got ribbons.
Yeah, that damage poison isn't going to do nearly as much to him as it was to Asher's party.
Yeah, 58, 48, 35, 59, that's chip damage, that's nothing.
Stinger's a free turn.
Still not a safe grind, but because it's going to eat through a lot of resources, but you could still sit here for a little bit and get a few more levels if Burt really wanted to. I don't know what a seal pod situation is, though.
Yeah, that's the only thing. I think if I'm not mistaken, Cure 3 was Night Learnable in 3rd slot level 3. And that would be his best option for
He's got 90 plus heal pods, he's fine.
Ooh, blue detail. Interesting. Gets the jump on him, so he's gonna take it.
And Asher re-picking up his Ruby. I think everybody's made the same checks. Asher's got a Chime. and an orb. So Burt is about about a full volcano behind.
Burt's done some key lock chests as well in that mermaid side play that Asher hasn't.
And Asher does not have the key.
He didn't find the money on that mermaid side to pay for it.
Right? And Asher does just grab his ruby and GTFO. He says, nope, I am not dealing with that tile again. So we're going to see if Burt can get some sort of advantage. We got 9 Paralysts, which is a nice... Oh, and they have super low HP. They're under 40.
That's some nice EXP for that party. Those things, when they roll like that, they can actually be a half-decent grind.
Oh, here are the sorcerers. He's going to take this fight, which, normally seems pretty good, because he can usually take him out in 2 turns, but 2 hits, 2 damage, missed. And Burt getting some luck here, not finding...
He hasn't seen it yet.
So he's going to think that that's a safe fight, and 3 sorcerers just netted him over 2k in experience, so...
Frosty's also pretty weak at 160.
And now we got Burt all the way up to level 23, so that's a huge level advantage that he's got right now.
So Fire 3 at level 6 and Crescent, I think, is the only thing noteworthy there. I didn't see White Magic though, but it doesn't look like Asher's going to be running that White Mage. Opal Armor, that's good.
That's an upgrade. So, I mean, he's got a ribbon. He doesn't really need dragon armor at this point, so that's a fully decked out knight with a ribbon.
Yeah, he's ready to go in terms of equipment defensively on both his characters, and once he gets to Volcano and pulls that moss out of Armory, because I gotta think that's the next place he's going, and he's gonna be at least clearing Armory.
Oh, we've got...
if not full clearing it.
So Asher picks up that level 7 fast on both of his characters, and Life 2 is level 7 as well. So Asher, if he picks that red mage up, or white mage up, which he is, now he's finally got a life caster.
It didn't look like he had any intention of doing it, but then he saw a Life 2 and went, you know what, I think we should bring this guy up and get him at least a couple of charges of that.
Yeah, and he's gonna be looking at mid-20s to get a couple of charges, so we'll see how high he wants to take it. So it's gonna be interesting. Asher starting off going right side, which interesting, but then coming all the way back to the left side.
Burt kind of did the same thing, meandered back and forth a little bit, checking the 2 chests on your way. Usually people tend to, if they're going right side, we'll check that right chest and then just go. Titan was holding on to Cube, so maybe we do have Rod and Oath atop of Earth.
There we go. So it could be super trolly. The Rod seems to be the loose item, and that Rod can be anywhere. There's a lot of chests that you can check.
Yeah, that's the only thing that we're left missing at this point, isn't it?
I believe so.
Yeah, we've gotten everything because this crystal turns into the loot, so he's got everything, so our loose item is Rod.
And Rod is the second most trolly item in the game to try and find, specifically because there's only a handful of chests that it can't be.
Yeah, the 10 chests in the bottom couple of floors of Earth. Anything else is a possibility.
So, BurtReynoldz gonna come down here. He's finally gonna hit up Volcano. He definitely has the levels and definitely has the strength to get in and out of Volcano, probably with no problems whatsoever.
And if he goes to Armory, he'll definitely have the strength to take care of Carrie.
And both of Asher's black mages go down to the damage poison. That is... Oh, and... Did Asher miss that?
He didn't check. He checked the hairpin. Oh, Asher's do. I've seen him play a few times and do that glitch. It's fantastic. No, he didn't. He checked the,
He just checked the armory.
He checked the he checked the armory and the top 2 chests up by the fire tile that are just north of the armory, but he didn't go through the entire right side to the hairpin and the other one on the far right.
And we got CC calling out Loose Rod in Marsh, which that seems like it could definitely be a play here. That's going to be super trolly because these runners are probably going to full clear most of the game before they ever get to go to Marsh Top.
Yeah, that's not a place most people like to go to. There he goes. He's got his Masa. He's probably jumping for joy now.
And he had the starter set, and now he just went to the 2-man Grandmaster kit.
You know what? If he finds Cat Claw in one of this item shop or in one of the weapons shops, he's gotta buy it. Just throw it on that Black Mage. The Black Wizard.
And we have Classic Gamer 76 calling out TFC chest, because who doesn't? We have, as far as I know, in this tournament, we have not seen a loose item in TFC, and it is definitely something that we have been missing in this community for a while. I don't remember the last time that it was in TFC. Closest we got was Canoe Gate, and that was in that TFC floor, very top chest.
Yeah, those are chests that tend to get missed a lot of the times. It's always frustrating as a runner, but fantastic as a viewer when something ends up in some of those chests.
Oh yeah, for sure. And Lobster's just taking out the White Mage, and now Asher is down to solo fighter strats. And Speed Gaming 6, thank you for the raid. We got 30 new people joining in. We have a late night, Thursday night, Final Fantasy Randomizer action coming at you. We got asher1611, we got BurtReynoldz, and this is one heck of a race. We got 4-man strats versus 2-man strats, and now Asher pulling out the solo strats. This is man mode here.
He's gonna have to get through it though. Otherwise, could be some big time loss coming.
Now, if Asher would have gone back to Corneria and pulled exit on his knight, he could keep all these levels, and he could keep everything that he pulled out of the left side of Sea Shrine. But I don't think he went and got exit on that knight. Or was exit slot 2?
I think exit was second slot, so
okay.
I don't think it would have mattered. I'm fairly sure exit was second slot and would have been white locked.
And Spell Zap calling out the plays. Bane Sword is the play, and it was the play. That's the easiest way to get rid of some of these red Sahags. Bane Sword, Best Sword. It casts one slot of Bane. And Asher gonna figure out the rest of left side, and he's got one chest left to check. Oh, we got Frost Giants and Frost Wolves, and this is not a fun pack to see, especially when they ambush you.
At least with the red Sahags, their MDef isn't all that great, so it's got that Bane Sword's got a pretty good chance of at least wiping them out. Even if the Wiz Sahag stays, you'd be able to punch it in the face pretty good with a Massa.
Yeah, I agree with Spellzap on this. You want to thin out the packs before you start swinging, because if you can get rid of at least some of those Frost Wolves, I mean, they're not doing a ton of damage and they're missing, but they're just annoying and a gigantic time waste. You know, what else is a time waste is when your Bane Sword misses 4 times.
When it turns out your Massa swing would have done the exact same amount of work.
Right? But the second time Bane comes through and it does its job. Takes out the 3 of the last 4, and Asher's through. And
now he gets to do it again.
And the question is, though, is Asher gonna try and he doesn't have defense? Is he gonna try and take on Kraken with a solo knight? Because that seems dicey at best.
Yeah, Kraken, well, not his counterpart of Kraken 2, still has the ability to roll super high hits. It's super punchy, and If he has any sort of HP where you have to take 2 or 3 hits, your chance of living, even with a pretty decked out knight, are not very good. Throw the Bane Sword and pray.
And BurtReynoldz is coming up here on the Bulls and the incentive chest in Volcano. And Burt is very quickly catching up with this two-man. Asher, they're both missing the rod, and Burt's about to pick up his chime. So Burt should make short work of carry. That's exactly what Asher did. So we're gonna see what Burt's next play is to try and find that loose rod.
Finding that Thor hammer, finding that first loose, doesn't come back to bite Asher in any way, since just the way the incentives roll, that you'd have to be going through everything. But that could have potentially saved Burt a lot of time, but in this case, it's ended up, unfortunately, just being a bit of knowledge that didn't really pan out for him.
So Asher is going to give us our first look at Kraken. Assuming he can get there and doesn't get ambushed by lobsters. Hopefully I didn't just commentator curse him.
By far my most hated enemy in the entire game.
And blink and you miss it, BurtReynoldz basically one-shots Carrie, sends her back 2,000 years. He walked out of the volcano directly on his airship and off he goes. So, where are you gonna go, Burt? Where are you gonna go?
Gonna resupply here. Pick up some essentials. Asher slowly making his way through this final floor.
Cheesenator pointing out that he had the Zeus Gauntlet the whole time.
Yeah, that might have been useful. That probably would have been better for those with Sahag packs.
Alright, Asher. Alright, chat. Let's cross our fingers here. We got a Kraken pull about 1 hour in and 2 hits, 89 damage. Ooh. Oh boy, this is gonna be... But at least there's some vanilla ink coming out. So we got 217 on the second swing, 191. Thunder! Oh, and damage poison. Alright. This Kraken is not playing around. One more swing from Kraken. Oh, but 611. Massive hit. Man modes that Kraken. And we have our second orb lit on Asher's side. That was absolutely thrilling. Wow.
That was literally a make or break moment for him. If he wipes there, that puts him really far behind. This keeps him in this for sure.
And Asher is gonna come back in and do mermaids. Oh no, he's gonna save. We'll see if he orphans mermaid side. But that was probably the biggest moment of this race so far. Was Asher clutching out that Kraken solo man mode, no defense sword. Still hasn't done his key check, so this is a very, very, very close race at this point.
Yeah, and he is jumping back in. He's going to check Mermaid's side here. And he does have the key. So could you imagine if it is actually TFC? He'll be able to check it because Burt didn't have the key. He got the cash for the key on this side and then never came back and left that chest.
Asher going directly to TFC.
He wants to see if this is the big brain play of all time.
He says this is exactly where this is going to be. Mage Stick pull on BurtReynoldz' side. Dragon Armor? What? This was a 2-fighter seed. This was 100% a 2-fighter seed.
He doesn't even care about the Dragon Armor. He's like, I've got a ribbon and a opal. It's the same deal.
Right, exactly. Nuke not taking out that man-cat.
No, those had a little HP on them.
But Burt has not pulled the rod out of Mirage 1 or 2, so we're going to see what Sky does. And, oh, wow. Burt swinging for 700 damage. 5 hits, 700 damage on that bull.
That poor bull didn't know what happened. He was just standing by the door for some reason and just got eradicated.
Oh, ghosts. So on this floor, we got ghosts with mute. Oh boy.
Oh no.
Mute is not something that you want to see. At least they're not unrunnable, but down goes the white mage. These ghosts, they basically hit hardest in the entire game for vanilla enemies. You do not want to get caught up in a ghost ambush. Oh, only 15 gold. That was about as close to vanilla gold in that chest as you can get. Man, that would have been sick.
I always loved the fact that was a chest that they're like, okay, we're gonna put it in the key. You need to have the key to get to this chest, and there's nothing there whatsoever worth it.
And Roland, Burt has the opal armor, which gives the same amount of absorb as the dragon armor. The difference is that the opal armor only gives lightning defense, where the dragon armor gives multiple defenses. So yeah, there was no reason for him to swap it. And the TFC floor is a bust, but Mermaids is not. Pulls the ribbon that he's been looking for.
Gonna get that defense, or yeah, he's gonna be happy.
I believe defense was in dwarves, but yeah, he'll definitely be checking dwarves. If I had to guess, Asher's gonna go do key chests as soon as he gets a chance to kind of get in the area. He'll probably just proximity route them in. But he does get that white shirt, which is going to be huge for that white wizard, because she's been rocking silver armor and just getting her you-know-what kicked in. And Bert's still checking chests, so even with the lag, we have to assume he did not get the rod, because he has no more need for gear at all.
Yeah, as soon as he gets rod, he's not opening another chest. He's gonna find himself a nice grind tile, get his guys up, and then just book it through the rest of the game.
His levels are looking real good right now, too, so I mean, he's actually getting the good news of what he found in Mermaids, but the bad news that it's not exactly what he was looking for. Not going to use the inn to get out of here. He's going to pull up his white mage, though.
Yeah, that poor white mage got ghosted hard.
And in Final Fantasy Randomizer, everybody, ghosting is a totally different verb than in real life. So.
He wishes it was the normal form of ghosting that happened to the white wizard in that situation.
Right? Yeah, white shirt and ribbon are very, very good pulls. He doesn't have to spend level 7 charges on Invis 2. Actually gonna go check the Titan's tunnel to get his cube and get the news that he can now go to Sky. But Crab Cakes from about 15-20 minutes ago probably had the right of it, that it's time for Marsh.
Oh, come on. First 3 floors of Earth, because you know that will be the absolute last place that they check. No one wants to go to Earth without the rod.
Oh, for sure not.
We're running out of chests here. It's this floor or Earth or Marsh. And a few key locks that are available as well.
Bird finding the fighter, which is a really nice enemy to find. It's a 8th encounter on this floor, and it gives a ton of XP. Asher gonna follow Burt up into Sky. So Asher has an orb lead insofar as he is done water, but if Burt can find the rod here, he doesn't have to check any chests on the way over to get Kraken. And Asher still hasn't checked the keylock chest. At this point, I'm not sure he actually will, because he's just going to these fiend dungeons. There's a katana that we can't use, and
money that we don't need from it either.
Not anymore. And Burt is using the warp trick to make this a lot more speedy. Second katana. This is a 2 ninja dream here on Sky, up in the Sky 3 floor. But using up all those warp charges is just eating his nukes.
Yeah, the double-edged sword of unfortunately having those both land on the same level. You want to be able to move around quickly, but you also want the ability, to blow things up.
And Roland asking in chat, is the 2-man party a solid strat? And yes, it is. One of the best players in this game, Artea, has made a living on beating people with 2 people. That's what he does. Fighter Black Mage. You have to be really good at it, and you have to know what you're doing. There's a lot of runners who have tried, and a lot of runners who have failed.
And here we go, everybody. Bert's on the Bridge of Destiny, so if you want to see the robot friend, now's your time to get those bless RNGs out in chat.
And at this point, Godspeed to Burt if he ends up pulling a war mech with 2-man party when he's still in the lower 20s. But we'll see what he can do. And
I think he'd take it.
I think he would too. But there are some downsides to 2-man parties, and it usually comes down to, as Silverfire points out, AoEs and then touch attacks with Death Touch and low levels. If you can't get levels early, it makes everything tough.
Speaking of touch attacks, those sorcerers are the ones with their vanilla Death Touch, and we didn't see any on the bridge.
Oh, that's crazy. Generally, those sorcerers are in massive packs with the mud goals on the Bridge of Destiny. Tia's hitting like a limp noodle though. Can't even take out a black mage with her heads. What is happening? But I'm used to a Tia that can hit with 4 heads and 400 damage at a crack. Come on, Tia.
Yeah.
Get your
I was gonna say, how do you feel about Tia 1 after today?
Map strats! BurtReynoldz pulling out the map. There we go. That is what our world looks like, people. Everybody needs to take a drink. We have the map up.
Salut, Burt.
I, tonight, am drinking some tea.
Yeah, I'm much more vanilla with water right now. I ran out of iced tea. I'm very sad.
The tile number game, I believe, to make space, the devs had to take the tile number game out of the randomizer, unfortunately. I'm not sure what Bert's doing. Maybe he had some real life something come up. His timer's still going. Bert's not dead yet.
The timer's going. Nothing in SRL, so this is clearly one emergent bathroom break, I'm gonna guess.
And he just wants to make sure that everybody knows what it looks like when they're sitting on the map. And so everybody knows where everything is. And some people, me, could use a refresher on the actual map of this game instead of flying all over the world. But Burt has come back. He's back to life, flying around. He knows where he's going now. He has that map studied perfectly. He's gonna check Topher locked. Topher locked. We get a spike tile check. Oh, Water Nagas. This is a fantastic group tile to find.
They rolled low, but 378, 384 ain't taking them down.
Waters tend to suck really bad when it comes to HP. Flame armor, don't need that.
Could have been a good tile, but those waters are just too beefy. If they would go down to a 300 nuke, that's something you look for.
Yeah, or if Asher might take that a couple times since he has 2 nuke casters, because they might go down to 2 nukes.
I would hope they would go down to 2 nukes. God, that would be rough.
Sometimes they don't. Sometimes their MDef will kick in, and there's it says a big note, 400 damage on a nuke roll.
Bert's just looking to get away from this one and check that chest.
Oh, there it is! Burt, big brain play. Finding the loose rod in Topher locked.
Oh, that is absolutely huge. He can now go mode C, which will save him a bunch of time.
And he pulls up the rest of his party so he can get a few levels on everybody else.
Clearly, during the map strat portion of that, Burt was doing some deep Zen meditating and got himself some feels.
And we got level 27 on that fighter, or on that knight and the black mage. And he kept the opal bracelet. So now we're gonna be looking at, wow, he's just stacked with everything.
So much.
He's got 3 ribbons because you need 3 ribbons for 2 parties. He doesn't even know what to do with himself. He's just like, I don't know. Like, it's stuff on everybody. Here we go. So all BurtReynoldz has to do at this point is take out Tia, or take out Lich, take out Kraken. Just using all my fiends wrong right now. So we got Lich, we got Kraken, and BurtReynoldz is going to take on Topher. He's got the levels.
Yeah, he gets a few. If he gets a few levels on those other guys, just to help his meat shields, it'll be good. But that knight is plenty strong to be able to carry here, provided nothing horrible happens in Topher.
Yeah, you should have a couple of fast charges at this point because he's level 27 on that black mage. We had fast at level 7, so that's a little rough. But he only needs 3 fast charges really. He needs it for Kraken 2, Tia 2, and Chaos, and he could probably even get by with just Tia 2 and Chaos if needed.
Yeah, those are the big ones. The final 3 are the only ones you really need it for. The other 2, typically, if you're throwing a couple of nukes out and just a normal swing, will be more than enough to take care of it.
So right now the only question is, how long is it going to be before Asher checks that key locked in Topher? Because he hasn't checked any key locked at all yet.
If he goes there right after this, it'll be close. But if he starts going around to other things, although granted, I don't know what else he would think of doing.
Yeah,
after this.
As Cheesenator said, you've gotta check those key locked once you're in the air and you have the key, because there's so low commitment. You'd save while you're in the air in the airship, and you go in, you check something. If there's nothing there that you want, you just reset and you're already back in the air and you go to the next spot. They're really low commitment checks.
Yeah, super quick, super easy. And in this case, paying off huge.
But to be fair, Topher locked or Toph locked is those 3 chests are almost the most forgotten key lock chests that anybody ever does, especially if you're not in the air.
Yeah, they tend to get overlooked. You're dealing with 3 chests behind a set of spike tiles. Usually not something you're looking for, but in this case, you're gonna have to make that brain play like Burt did. Asher's gonna have to think of it real quick after finishing off these last few chests here.
So we've been talking so much, we didn't even see a vampire. It doesn't even exist. Not there.
Is there ever a vampire?
I mean, he is the eternal vampire, and nobody can defeat him. We're already at Lich. It didn't take much. That Lich is awfully scary.
That's a fantastic palette swap.
I would, if I saw that Lich in a dungeon, I would absolutely just probably wet myself and be like, nope, sorry Lich, you got this.
You're a fiend for once. Have a nice day.
Didn't mean to disturb you. And there we go. So it actually took 2 rounds. Lich had a little beef to her today.
Over vanilla, took the first 400 like a champ.
Yeah.
Didn't do so well with the second 500, but usually doesn't.
Yeah, I mean, undead gonna be undead and just pure dead. So Asher gonna check out the rest of Sky. We know that this is not where he needs to be at this point, but he doesn't know that.
Yeah, he's done now, so he's off to the bridge. So if you want a chance at Warmack, now's your time. Get those plus RNGs out.
Burt had enough for his fast charges this time. So he did not have fast on the Black Mage, that was level 27. Came back through, picked it up. That's good routing.
Smart play to remember that it was there, knowing I'm gonna have to come back anyway.
Right. Will Asher pull the robot chicken? We need one. We need one, chat. Come on. We need those blessed RNGs out. We need them hard. But he's going left and down. I'm not. I don't know. Ilmars, which way do you go?
I've always been a right and up. Greggly Puff would be losing it right now.
Yeah, I'm a upright guy, and the stairs is literally the only way to go. But down, left, oof. Or left, down. I think it was down, left.
Yeah, maybe he's RNG manipulating to find that robot.
Yeah, maybe. Spell Zap with the right up crew.
Burt learning that lobsters do lobster things to people who aren't completely decked out.
Danny saying up, right, and we did not get a robot chicken, friends. I am so sorry. We have been disappointed. Asher does not have a fast charge yet on that Black Mage, so he's still a little bit under-leveled for where he probably wants to be. We got Nuke, we got Fade, we got a Swing. Burt took down Tia in pretty short order. That Masa's still swinging, and well, Asher did it too. Two rounds, Tia's down, and now we're really just looking for that rod. Bert's probably gonna take out Kraken, and if Asher does his key chests in short order, like literally Temple of Fiends is right there. So if he does that as his first key lock chest, this is gonna be very, very, very close.
Yeah, Bert's got probably dependent on what Asher does for key locks, but if he goes straight key locks, that Bert's probably got a Tia to Chaos wipe lead.
So where are you gonna go, Asher? He's all right. Here are his, and yep.
There he's doing key locks. If he's saving in the air,
he's gonna check these, find out what he can get. But if he finds Rod, if he goes to Toph first before going to Dwarf, he's going to miss out on the defense sword, which may be a big deal.
Still got a white shirt. Has Invis 2 caster with the white, so you could throw that white shirt on. Well, but he's going chest density first, so he's gonna get it. Meanwhile, Kraken got absolutely obliterated by multiple hits for 700 damage by a fast Nazgul. Blink and you miss it.
And BurtReynoldz, first player to light 4 orbs at 1 hour and 20 minutes and some odd seconds, and BurtReynoldz is probably heading straight into Topher. And we're gonna get our first look at 2,000 years in the past.
Yeah, Unless there's a spell or two that he thinks his knight needs, but again, I think the only thing that he really could have learned on the knight was Cure 3, I think. Other than that, I don't think he cares.
He's gonna top off his heal pots, make sure that he has pures and softs just in case. But he's got enough ribbons. He's got ribbons for days. The only thing he's missing is a life spell. Oh, Asher, there we go. He does the Temple of Fiends check. And even though Earth is not a huge, like, it's not a quick dungeon, it's not going to take him a long time when he go mows it.
No.
Burt enters the Temple of Fiends Revisited at 1 hour, 21 minutes, and 25 seconds. Asher's going to take these fights, though, because he is still pretty under-leveled compared to where he probably wants to be.
Yeah, the plus side being you can go nuke, fade, nuke on those bottom 3. And that should be good enough to take them out.
Never mind. He's level 27 on that night. He is exactly where he wants to be.
Yeah, unfortunately that white mage took not necessarily intentional deaths, but was just getting picked on here and there, so it's a little under-leveled.
But he's got 2 life 2 casts, so I mean that's very, very, very helpful. Cheesenator pointing out the big eyes with damage poison are really the difference here. Asher went into ice with no ribbons, and because he went in there with no ribbons, he ended up having to go in there 2 or 3 different times to try and get everything out of there. He ended up just walking out after he got the ruby. Didn't even go to the bottom, and it didn't bite him. Unfortunately, Burt looks like he's having some more internet issues, so he's sitting there frozen. Well, let's hope it's just internet issues and it's not computer issues, because, man, that would be awful.
What a horrible time to have that if it were.
I can blame that Canadian internet.
Hey, simmer. I'd like to make fun of it, but they haven't even installed fiber yet where I live, so, you know, whatever.
And BurtReynoldz obviously didn't take a wipe on his way down to Lich 2. We have our first look at Lich 2, and Lich 2 looks just as scary as Lich 1. But Vivi already taken a dirt nap over on Burt's side, so his one of his meat shields is down before he even got a chance to use them. And Lich 2 goes down really without a fight.
It lightly tickled the white mage, and that was about it.
So BurtReynoldz quickly making work down here with 4 red dragons. Come on, lag! Don't hit us now! And we got some gray worms.
Worms now. Green agamas.
We got some
agamas.
Yes, and some regular giants. These palette swaps, man, they get me all the time. And Carrie, I believe that is the Japanese version of Carrie, if I had to look at the sprite correctly. We got nukes coming out, and Carrie too had no HP whatsoever. This is
also hit like a limp noodle there. God, 37 on a black mage.
We have not seen too many Carry 2 gatekeepers yet. Yeah, Asher, with as paper as this Topher has been so far, I mean, Asher, depends on what happens, but I don't see anything stopping Burt right now. And Asher is probably going to be hitting up Lich almost exactly when Burt's hitting up Chaos.
Yeah, he's at least a full wipe behind, with given how easy this has been for him so far. But hey, we're about to see someone who can reach out and touch you pretty hard.
Alright, so we can only assume that it's going to be white shirt, or it'll fade, and... Oh, no! That is a wipe. He does not have...
No.
He does not have life 2 on that white mage. He can't.
No, there's nothing he can
do. And it's 1200 damage. Oh, goodbye.
Alright, Black Mage, what do you get?
Zap, but nothing, 'cause he's got that black shirt and a ribbon. 9 hits. Goodbye, Black Mage. And we have ourselves a race.
Oh boy, that's Bert's going to go grind on these water nagas to gain a few levels on those other characters. It looks like. I wonder if he's going to be thinking, bringing that white mage up to a level where it might learn life 2.
He would have to run all the way back down to Honorak. I don't think there's any way he picked up life 2 on that white mage. There was a 0% chance he was thinking that the white mage was going to be worth it at all.
This gives Asher that opening, having a white mage who has life 2, because all it takes is getting
your knight and a white mage through.
That's it. I think next time it's gonna be defense white shirt like Silverfire's saying, because jeez Louise, that Kraken was not messing around.
Yeah, I don't see any way that grinding is going to help unless he can somehow swing for 900 damage on the Masa, but he's not going to get to level 50. It's just not.
You're always wondering when that gatekeeper is going to hit and just how hard is it going to slam the gate. Boy, oh boy.
And this could be 100%
as hard as possible.
This could be 100% RNG. Like, because we saw that Kraken had, I believe it was Ink or something that was completely mundane, and if Kraken decides to go, or yeah, Zap, if Kraken decides to go skill or spell and doesn't zap people through ribbons and whatnot, Asher might not even see 800, 900, 1200 damage from Kraken.
Yeah, those hits were absolutely vicious. You're gonna have to stack evasion so hard to be able to avoid that.
Yeah, we got ourselves a race. I believe there was even a critical hit in there too with Kraken. So Kraken might have rolled a bunch of crits. Even if you can get to max evade, you still might get crit through max evade and still get taken down.
Yeah.
So
there's no way you're gonna fog 2 yourself up enough to eat out the other half of those from the normal attack damage from it.
Yeah, for sure. And if Kraken 2's already taken out a top of the line armored knight, I mean, there's nothing you can do. Like fogs aren't gonna do it. there's nothing.
That was 900 damage on a knight that couldn't be kitted out any better than it is. That's a fully absorbed knight that just got walloped. And Kraken also took about 1,000 HP there by the time the final nukes 1,000 to 1,100. So he's got a little bit, he's got a little bit of HP behind him as well.
Silverfire pointing out that one fog 2 reduces the 10 hit swing by 120 damage because it's 10 absorb, but 120 out of 700 damage. Maybe you'll get your knight to last one more hit. But there was also some really, really bad RNG getting a back row knight just walloped. So BurtReynoldz is about a minute ahead of Asher right now, about to pull carry 2. Asher is sitting here on Lich and taking a little bit longer than I think he wants to take on Lich, if I had to guess.
Finally gets him down though.
One fine day, BurtReynoldz and Asher both have the defense sword. They picked it up in the Dwarf Armory. So, the slideshow shows that Burt made it through Carry 2 again for the second time. And getting greeted by a seafood party pack here on the Kraken floor. And the seafood
Carrie's got nothing.
The seafood party pack decides that it's just gonna beep the knight out of existence. It's just gone with 602 HP.
That's
Don't
it.
know what happened, but hopefully we can get Burt back here. Yeah, this is, as one fine day points out, this is exactly the kind of boss you don't want to have with a two-man party. And Carry 2 goes down, no problem. We got level 24 on Asher's side, on his lower-end people, or lower-end light warriors. So there's the Sifu party pack that we see on Burt's screen. That shows you that Burt was about 40 seconds ahead, getting onto this floor. Where Burt is, we don't know right now. But we will find out whenever his stream comes back.
The stream froze in absolute fear of knowing Kraken is coming again.
Yeah, so I can only assume that at this point Burt is getting smacked around by Kraken again, but we will find out whenever Burt's stream comes back. Maybe we will all be very surprised
There's a Tiamat or something.
There's a Tiamat or a Chaos on his screen. Asher rearranging his light warriors into a formation where somebody can take a tank hit. I don't like that he left the white mage in the second slot though. That is targeted around 25% of the time. So one hug by Kraken and all of a sudden Burt must have made it through with 2 light warriors. Not his black mage though, unfortunately. Nuke coming out for Asher and only doing 103 damage to that knight. What? Must have gotten some evasion. Must have gotten evasion stat? No, I don't think he got evasion stacks off. What the heck was that, Kraken? He got 3 evasion stacks off, according to Cheese.
Okay, that's better. Oh, big hit.
White shirt defense, and that took 12 hits or 10 hits down to 1. So that was huge that he got those off. Burt is around still 20 seconds, 30 seconds ahead of Asher at Tia. But Asher has 4 light warriors up, and Burt is rocking only his knight with a low-level white mage. Knight comes off with defense. Tia throws out an ink, a little scared of this party, I think. White shirt comes out. Now we got 3 stacks of evasion on that knight. We got a fast coming out, and we got our first round. Exactly what we want. Nobody fell off the face of the planet 2,000 years in the past. 180 from that nuke, 10 hits, 844 from the Masa, 148 on the fade, and 121. 3 hits, 300 some damage, and down goes. So we got another fade coming out. 198. That's another 408, and Tia goes down. We don't know whether or not BurtReynoldz got a chance to get Tia down with that 2-man party. We got worms right before we hit Chaos. So we gotta hope that Burt is sitting on Chaos right now. We don't know. This is absolutely crazy, people.
He just killed Tia.
He killed Tia, and he killed the worms, and...
Yep, he just killed the worms. He's healing up to mad mode.
Gonna try and mad mode this with defense sword, power bonk, and he apparently must have taken another step or 2 from Asher. Evil Man, Nightmare pack coming up. And Asher is pulling Chaos. We got... What you gonna do? We got the defense sword, we got fast.
Temper.
2 hits, 150 damage from Chaos. Not hitting too bad, especially considering that was on a black mage. And we got Fade coming out, we got Nuke coming out. We got Nuke coming out. 133, Fade coming out for 132. Masa swing, 4 hits, 504 damage. Nuke coming out, 180. Chaos only doing 97 damage. Likes to be a little punch happy, it looks like. White Mage throwing out a ruse. We got Nuke, we got Swing. We got 171 damage. What are we going to do with that Masa? 3 hits, 488. Asher coming from behind and taking out Chaos. Whoa! That was absolutely insane.
Wow, Burt was doing victory laps or pulling fights, it looked like, around the final staircase. I guess he didn't feel confident enough. I'm not sure.
That is absolutely heartbreaking for BurtReynoldz. He ran a very, very good two-man party. He did a really good job making do with two-man the entire time. But
he was not ready for the Kraken of death.
And we are joined here in chat by asher1611. Asher, my friend, how are you feeling?
I have no idea how I pulled that off. Like, no idea. I thought for sure I was off of Bert's pace by quite a bit.
I'm gonna tell you, you were.
That's what it felt like.
Yeah, Burt is pulling chaos right now, so we're gonna give his slideshow its due. He takes out the defense sword, does a second defense sword, and chaos is punch happy. So these defenses are gonna go off, and then he's gonna power bonk up. If I had to guess, even though it's a slideshow, chaos is being very, very punch happy. Burt should not have a big problem with this at all. He's going to keep power bonking up. He's going to Goku this. Just keep power bonking. He sees chaos, just likes to punch. He's max evade. Power bonk. Power bonk. Here we go. He's just going to... Here we go. How many bonks are you going to do, Burt? You're really, really close. Oh, and he swings. And we don't know what happens, but... Chaos, I see a shaky screen. Oh, no. Not yet.
No, that was a punch shake.
Oh, I thought that he had him in one swing. But BurtReynoldz is going 3 hits, 1,347 damage, and his chaos is done, and we have it. And with an official SRL time, BurtReynoldz finishes in second place with 1 hour, 37 minutes, and 49 seconds. Asher, our first place finisher, with 1 hour, 35 minutes, 18 seconds. Whew! That was a really good race from start to finish. And Asher, if you ended up losing, Burt was in tow for about 5 minutes before you were, and then he re-entered Topher about 1 minute in front of you. But he was running two-man the entire time, had his party super, super high level, and ran into Kraken, who decided to just absolutely demolish his party with 10 hits.
Well, oh man, I figured Burt was going to go with the two-man, and I thought about it a little bit, and I actually tried to kill that white mage for a while until I saw Life 2 was there. And I just thought, with the nukes, you know what? Let's see if I can just make a nuke happen. I mean, I made some silly time losses at the very beginning with saving outside of Matoya probably cost me a few minutes. But I felt pretty slow through the whole run, so I definitely stole that one.
Yeah, that was a tale of two different strategies on Kraken. BurtReynoldz went for speed and power, and Kraken matched it by hitting an absolutely fully decked out knight on his side for 900 damage, where you went with evasion, and it absolutely saved you because we were all scratching our heads as to how it could only do 100 to you when it had absolutely demolished his.
Sometimes it's a better night to be lucky than good. I mean, Bert's always very good with this, but rando's gonna rando sometimes.
Yeah, that was a heck of a race. You got a little stuck there, probably getting a little frustrated when you see such a great grind tile in what is normally known as those XP pinatas, and then seeing that they weren't so fun to play with in ice.
Yeah, I felt behind enough at that point that I thought about just warping out in ice once I got the ruby and saying, screw it, I'll come back later, or I'm already behind. But I thought, no, let's be a responsible runner. Let's check the bottom of ice, even though ice had been a terror to that point with vanilla sorcerers having death touch. And yeah, that was one of those nice sendbacks that just didn't make me very happy. I mean, I wouldn't say I was tilted at that point. It's just like, okay, definitely not going down there anytime soon. I hope it's somewhere else.
Yeah, thankfully that didn't come back. There was nothing spectacular down there, so didn't really miss out on anything. Outside of that, though, how did you feel overall? I know you said you felt behind. What do you think was really your impetus for feeling like you were that way?
There were just some slow plays at the beginning. I mean, just very inefficient with the inner sea route and going up to Matoya, dropping a cabin outside of there and getting stuck on the encounter table was pretty terrible. I did better sailing the seas eventually using the save items that were available, but that was definitely some wasted time. And then there was one dungeon chain that I don't think was required, and the floater wasn't required, which bit me last week. So I thought, well, oh boy, I really hope that it isn't the Power Gauntlet and Opal Circle again. And I maybe could have used keeping the Opal Circle at this point, but I apparently needed all the seconds I could get.
No, absolutely. You noped out of that as soon as you saw that. That's for sure.
Yeah, I mean, with 3 casters in there, you think maybe that Opal bracelet will work out. But fortunately, I dug a white shirt out of somewhere, and that saved me on the armor front. I mean, I guess the other thing is that I don't know exactly what it is. I've still had some like synaptic misfires in my just run execution at some point. Like, am I going to go 2-man? Am I going to go 3-man? Am I going to go 4-man? Well, the game's going to make me solo a knight all the way through this bottom part of Sea Shrine, which actually that felt really good, but also felt like a gigantic time sink, because there's a reason you don't go solo strats unless you're Will Bloodworth, and then I was doing it with the wrong class.
Yeah, we were all holding our breath during that, and that was the next thing I was gonna ask. Was you were dancing a little bit here or there through sea, and then all of a sudden, lobsters, which everyone hates lobsters.
Yep.
And they just absolutely demolish your mages, and you're left to run the last floor and a half with just your fighter. You must have been incredibly nervous, and we all said it when Kraken went down. Like, that literally saved your race.
Yeah, I mean, and it was at the point where, once again, execution error. I got ruse on my knight, but not my white mage. I got exit on my white mage, almost died to the exit boss after Tiamat, actually, or Tiamat 2, actually. Did not end up getting exit on my knight, and, I might have actually exited out there and redove, but that extra experience on the knight ended up being very important for Topher, from the looks of it.
Yeah, and we were mentioning that on stream, whether if you would have gotten exit on the night, whether or not you would have exited out after you checked all the chests, just to bring everybody up and run straight to Kraken. But
yeah, considering the toxic big eyes and how common the ghosts were as well, it didn't feel like a very safe sea shrine for some reason. I can blame somebody in the commentary booth for this. Can't put my finger on who though.
Those Gouda seeds, they just tend to bite you pretty hard.
Well, it's one of those.
At least you guys got Nuke at a decent level.
Yeah, and I mean, it's really interesting just where the scripts land, and you get a lot of things in the minutes. You sometimes you say to yourself, okay, I'm seeing these scripts in the early game, it's not really going to bother me as much later, but it landed on some really common enemies. So that was fun.
Yeah, so Asher, you are 3-2 now. You are guaranteed at least a shot at the last chance qualifier. You are in this 3-2 group that is just gonna be awful. Because there are so many good racers at 3-2. How do you feel?
Honestly, I just hate it was against Burt, because I have a lot of respect for Burt. I mean, I've watched him pretty much since he joined the community, and I know he's put in the work, and it's got to be just hard facing the 2 and 3, but that's the reality of Swiss 2. Is just, if you can get a win, yeah, sometimes there's going to be some fluky wins, but pretty much from anyone who can get 2 wins on knows how to play this game. So it's sometimes just a matter of who you get, and Bert's one of the runners I'd say it's probably had a tougher draw than I've had through this whole tournament. But the 3-2, I mean, my goal was to go 4-2 in Swiss. My expectation was to go 3-3, so either way I'm above the board.
Yeah, and it was pointed out in chat just the run that BurtReynoldz has gone through. He's had to go through you, he's had to go through Greg Lee Puff, and Tarnin. And you guys are all 3 really, really good racers, as well as Rojo and Algebrap. But, I mean, this 3-2 group is nuts. Hopefully Burt can pull it off next week and end up in the last chance qualifier. And whoever ends up in that last chance qualifier, that is scary. Super scary.
It's a meat grinder, and I mean, it's tradition that who gets out of the last chance qualifier typically is good enough and places well in the play-in race. So if Burt can slingshot all the way back up from there, I would not be surprised at all.
Yeah, I 100% agree with you. BurtReynoldz is one of the better runners in this community, and seeing him at 2 and 3, like, the 2 and 3 group should be scared. That's all I gotta say. That 2 and 3 group's gonna have to deal with Burt next week, and I believe they're also gonna have to deal with Mr. Gregley Puff. So this Swiss has just rolled crazy, and the matchups have been fantastic.
Well, I'll tell you too, it's just one of the really interesting things that you look at it from the spring tournament last year to 2 years ago to this year, is that not only has the Final Fantasy randomizer community been growing substantially, but the talent level's been going up quite a bit too. I mean, it's just great to see so many high quality runners out in the field.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. And some of the newbies who have showed up too have started winning races and have been running really fast. And the new crop is it's just getting amazing, and the community's growing. And I'd like to invite everybody out there to join up with the Final Fantasy Randomizer Discord and come join us. I mean, we are a really good group of people. We want to help you learn the game. And like Burt, he wasn't here last year for spring tournament. He showed up after ONRAC summer vacation and just taken everything by storm, and it's fantastic.
It's a lot of fun. You should join. I know It's after midnight in some places, but the Discord's always open.
For sure, and make sure you give these runners a follow. I mean, they put on a fantastic show tonight. This is one of the best matches I've seen all spring tournament, and I'm glad I had the pleasure to commentate it. Make sure you give our tracker, all three of our trackers, Danny, Guelph, and Professor Renderer, a follow. Myself, Ilmar's Ubermuller. Unfortunately, BurtReynoldz has declined an interview, so at this point, I think we'll give Speed Gaming the channel back, and we'll go to final thoughts with you, Asher.
I just can't believe I won. I mean, I'm more in shock than anything. I mean, I'm looking forward to looking over this race again. It's one of those things where even if you make mistakes and bumps along the way, you just can't psych yourself out. And I did a good job, at least, of saying, you know what, I've screwed up here or there. I've just got to keep chugging. And that's pretty much it. So thank you, Speed Gaming. Thank you, everyone who is in the commentary booth tracking behind the scenes. Thank you to the viewers, for everyone watching. And thanks again for all the people who are taking their time to volunteer and work their tails off behind and in front of the scenes for the tournament. It's been a great show so far.
Absolutely. Once again, check out the Discord. All the links are posted. Give everyone a follow. Give Speed Gaming a follow. My name is Ilmar's Ubermuller. I want to say good night to you all. Thank you, Gouda. Thank you, Asher. Thank you, Burt. Thank you, Danny, Renderer, and Guelph. This was fantastic tonight.
And I'll sign us off, and I will say, come join the Discord. It's a great time. And if you guys liked what you saw tonight, we have more Swiss action the rest of the weekend, all the way up until Sunday. And then after that, we've got week 6 of Swiss, and those are going to be by far the best matchups of the entire tournament. Everybody's going to be pretty equal in how good they are, and oh my goodness, I can't wait. As a runner, I'm scared of next week. It's going to be so good. But on that note, join the Discord, follow everybody, and thank you for watching. I'm Gouda632. I was with Ilmar's Ubermuller. Let's catch you guys later.